politically street, man. That's one of the coldest names you can have. Because we out here in these streets, but these politics is trickling down, so it's all intertwined, man. So we got to figure out how to work it the way we work. So shout out to politically street.
Politically street, well, we're politically street all the time. So anything that we talk about is for information purposes only. You know, we don't endorse any kind of candidates. You know, we're just here for information purposes, and we're here to promote and to put positive energy out there. So with that being said, my first guest today is my brother Calvin Carruthers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And he wrote a book.
Yes, sir.
It's called What Your Mama Didn't Teach You.
About credit. Yes,
about
sir.
credit, right. So tell me, what was the inspiration of writing this book?
Well, the inspiration behind writing Things Your Mama Should Have Told You About Credit is just to bring awareness, you know, to help people, you know, think before they spend. Simple thing. You know, you can tell a lot of people how to spend their money or how they should utilize credit, but in this book I focus more on the triggers behind you spending, you know, and just everyday life, you know.
Okay.
I try to shy away from the money aspect of it because, you know, people, you can't tell them how to spend their money. They don't want to hear that.
So you saying that financial literacy is not important, or what do you mean you can't tell them how to spend money?
Well, it's deeper than just a financial literacy. It's a lot deeper. I believe it's triggers, like you spending money based off, you may have a bad day at work. You probably brought your lunch to work, you know. If the boss, you know, piss you off or say something you don't like, you might need a burger and a fry instead of what you prepared, a healthy meal. Okay. It's just certain triggers that we don't think about. And, you know, you for example, if you brought your lunch for the whole week, you didn't plan on spending nothing, you got your meal prep, and you just want to, you know, you got everything in order. But once you had that bad day, it's like somebody want to go have a drink after work that they didn't plan to have.
Right. Okay. I see.
So you see what I'm saying? So it's that triggers that we don't really tap into or think about that causes us to spend money. Just like pressures derail us from the plan that we have in place.
Gotcha. Makes sense. So how soon do you think that we should be teaching our kids about credit?
As soon as I want to say as soon as they ask you to buy something and you don't have the money for it, that's when they need to start learning about credit. Not the depths of APRs and stuff like that and due dates, but making them understand that you should save before spending instead of just spending.
Right.
So,
and I read it in your book that you had a conversation with your son about a certain game he wanted, a Nintendo or something like that, right? And so he was like, "But Dad, $300 is not nothing," you know what I mean? So I found that funny, but then the lesson was still taught on the back end with his grandmother, you know what I mean? So that was pretty interesting how you tie it together and whatnot, you know. So with that being said, how do you feel about these credit companies coming together and saying, "Hey, you know, pay us $200 down and pay us $89 a month, and we'll help you fix your credit"? Like, how do you feel about those?
They're scams.
Oh, wow.
I think a lot of them are scamming you. I mean, first off, if a credit company, repair company, if they're not telling you you could do it yourself, you don't need them. That's the number one sign or red flag you should know, okay, this could be a scam.
Gotcha.
If they're not telling you you could do it yourself, because you can do it yourself. It's going to take work. You're going to have to write the credit card companies that you know got the debt with. You're going to have to put the mail and stamp. You're going to have to sign everything. You got to do the work behind it.
Gotcha.
But it's a waiting game. It's not an overnight thing, and that's the number one thing that the credit repair companies sell you is it's overnight. We can have you here at 8.
Gotcha.
Some people, it may take you about 30 years to get an 8. It's not overnight.
I hope not, man.
It's just the credit is over time. So it's over time we've made these mistakes with our credit. So you have like 7 years 7 to 10 years, depending on the state you're in, based off the laws. That stuff is still alive. So everywhere is different. But them telling you they can do it overnight, number one, if they're sending all of these letters to your credit card companies and to the credit bureau saying, hey, I want to check this, I want to check this, that's a red flag already.
Gotcha. Well, you don't want to get too much of the book away.
Okay,
too, so,
okay.
So a lot of information in the book too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but
don't get me wrong. I think because it was a lot of information that I wasn't privy to. You know what I mean? So it was very, very informative. You know what I mean?
Sir.
So, one last question that I think a lot of people really, and I don't want to be judgmental or be prejudiced or biased, but when should we use credit?
Only during emergencies. Period. Shouldn't use it any other time other than that.
So if I want to go out and buy some new stereo equipment or some new stuff for my podcast, I shouldn't do it.
Is it an emergency that you have to have that?
Yep.
Well, I mean, let's be all the way real with it. I don't want to just say emergencies only. I want to say if you could afford to pay that balance off before the next billing cycle, then use credit. Because you have to have the activity on the credit.
Right.
Period.
Sure, right.
You gotta have it.
Right.
Or they may end up canceling it on you themselves if they see you're not using it. So if you can pay it off before the next billing cycle, then you should be able to have credit.
Gotcha.
If you can't accomplish that, then credit isn't for you. But other than that, you build credit over time. So if you're only using it when it's an emergency, then you're going to pay that off. You got that.
I see what you're saying.
You plan on paying it off versus you just going to go buy a burger or a fry or just something off an impulse because you've seen it on your timeline. You went and swiped.
Gotcha.
You're screwing yourself. Because if that balance is still there over the next billing cycle, depending on where your credit is and what APR rate that you have, that's going to build up. That's a fee for you buying that burger and fry.
That's true. It's going to cost more, right? That dollar going to turn into about $1.20.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay. That's powerful, man. So before we get up, I want you to let everybody know where they can find your book at and how they can get it, and your Instagram, hook, or anything that they can reach Calvin at.
Okay. You can check the book out on Amazon. I'm keeping it in a Kindle e-format at the moment. You could just go in and type in things your mama should have told you about credit, just like you would shop for anything. And you can access that through the Kindle app. And if you have Kindle Unlimited, you could just go read it right now. Again, that's things your mama should have told you about credit.
I like
it's
that.
Sticky.
Yeah. And about your Instagram hook?
Well, you could find me on Instagram at Confident Pics Only. I'm also a photographer, so you need any photography done, you can check me out there. But you can check me out also on Anchor. If you just look up my podcast, and I just pretty much touch on different parts of the book inside of that podcast. And the title is the same, Things Your Mama Should Have Told You About Credit. And my name, Calvin Carruthers Sr, will come up on that.
All right. So it's episode 1 of Politically Street. Brother Calvin, I really appreciate you coming out.
Appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? So let's keep moving, keep pushing forward, man. So tune in again for our next episode of Politically Street.
Yes, sir.
Peace.